Hey coaches, Coach Bess here, and I just want to show you how we make our process guides in Drive, Google Drive. We dedicate an entire folder called Process Guides and Tutorials, and each regular process, like blog posting, which is the example I'm showing you today, has its own workflow or process guide for it. And what you can do is, if you create this with checkboxes, which you will find in this bar here, you can see here that you can add checklist. So for instance, let's say that I wanted this to have a checkbox in front of it. You just click on that and it will put a checkbox there. The reason I do that is for each new blog post that I'm working on, I can just make a copy right here, make a copy, and title it the title of the blog post here. And then that's going to be my workflow, a fresh copy for each blog post. The reason I do that is so that I can check these off as I go, and I'll know that that part of the process is done. This is especially helpful if you have someone helping you, like a VA or an assistant. The other thing that we like to do is put the location of where things are located in our Drive folder, in Google Drive, in which folder, so we'll know to go to the blog post folder, drafts and outlines to find it. And we just basically type up each step of the way, and you can do this the first time you create it or by the third or fourth time you've done a blog post, so that you really don't have to think too much and you know which steps are necessary to go from start to finish on your blog posting process. And so you create this process guide with each step. It's clickable to check it off when it's done, so that whether it's you or someone helping you, you'll know where the status is at on that particular blog post, which you have named up here after you copied this guide. So that's how we do it. We have a master process guide in the process guide folder, and then I just make a copy for each blog post. I'm actually going to take you through it. I'm just going to say how to build your coaching. Here, let's do it like I'm still a health coach. How to eat fresh every day. Terrible example, but I just want to take you through this. So now I have my post, how to eat fresh every day, my title up here, and now I get to work on this fresh copy by checking it off as I go for this particular blog post. And so you create the blog post process from your memory of what it takes to do this every step of the way. And so you have your master process guide here. You make a copy, which I just showed you how to do that here. And I would actually put this in with my blog post that I'm working from in the folder that it's in here, and work alongside that document that has the blog post in it. Or you could put it at the end of it on the same document. It's up to you. But the idea is that you now have a process guide to work from every single time you go to do this process. You can do the same thing with a podcast episode, with a YouTube video, with social media content sharing, with creating a workshop, all the things that you're going to do over and over again. You definitely want to make a process guide for, so that you kind of have that mental guide and you don't always have to think through all the steps. It's just such a time saver, and it's a great way to stay accountable to yourself, or if you're working with another person, for them to be accountable to you on what is done and what you still might need to do, and just to be able to check in and see what is done in the process. I hope this is helpful as another way of really fine-tuning your workflow, especially on the things that you do week after week, or at least a couple times a month. Email sending, newsletters for your email list, all of those things. You can do this same idea and then make fresh copies for each time you're doing it. Another way to keep your workflow smooth with this tool is at the beginning of your work week, maybe the weekend before, if you're doing any kind of catch-up work. I like to work on Sundays for a couple of hours, just prepping the week and putting things in place for it. That's when it's a great time to make a copy of this workflow, this process guide, for the work that you're going to do in the coming week. Especially if you have your content topic calendar already put in place. Now you can just make this fresh copy to go with the document of the blog post, prepare it, have it ready to go, and boy, is it going to be easier to get into the mindset and the flow of this process. I hope this is a helpful tool. Let me know what you think.